Alright guys, Tactical here again today, and before we get into the content of the video, I wanted to say that this is my 100th daily upload in a row. So I've done 102 videos in the last 100 days, because I did a couple of daily uploads back in January, a couple of double uploads in one day back in January, so it might not mean too much to you guys, but it's a pretty damn big milestone for me, and I'll try and keep it going as long as I can. I very much doubt I will ever be able to beat this streak, considering, you know, I'm going to be working full-time at Intel from July, and then it's going to be difficult, so, you know, another 100 days on in the year, I will be working full-time, so I don't think that's really achievable, but, you know, I guess we have to enjoy the streak while it lasts and while the opportunity presents itself. All good things come to an end, but, yeah, hopefully not quite yet. So anyway, let's get into the content of the video here. I want to talk about some Rostermania stuff, but also a few things that broke to do with League play and also the specialist changes in Black Ops 4, which is actually a huge deal for competitive play. So yeah, like if you enjoy it, subscribe if you're new as always, and let's hop right into it here. So Tony Flames says the following. He's one of the senior game designers. Tomorrow's League play event will feature the launch of our new skill division system. Keep all of your progression and grind rewards, add a layer to display your skill bracket to the world, also improvements to the skill-based matchmaking algorithm and League play. Now, Brian Saint said pretty soon after, League play is still trash, so I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on it, because I haven't got around to playing it yet. So if you guys have any, you know, if you guys think it's still bad or think it's a little bit better, and leave it down in the comment section below. And then we have this. So today's game update changed how specialist weapon cooldowns work in League play in the CWL. They will now fill up only based on score, not time. Now this is an absolutely huge deal. This guy replies to him, dropped 15 EKI and S&D and only got halfway to my vision pulse. And, you know, he's kind of almost complaining about this. But Tony Flame says, yep, the S&D meta will be totally changed. This is glorious stuff for competitive. I've seen some things said on Reddit. Okay, so these are the specialist earned score rates for every single, well, this is the score you need in every game mode to get these specialists. So effectively, the game could go all the way to round 10 and you still might not get your specialist quite yet, especially if you're using the higher up ones. The only ones that are reasonable to use are the 1700 ones, and even then you're not going to get them until like round 10 or so. So this is actually a huge difference to how competitive is going to play, because specialists are not going to be available so early in the game. Maybe, unfortunately, a lot of them will be available coming towards the end of the game, but it's still not guaranteed that you're going to get it if you need 1700 score all the way to the end to get even the lower tier specialists. So personally, I think this is a great change. It may even change some of the meta in the controls, for example, because typically in control specialists started to come up around round 3. Maybe that'll be delayed a little bit longer now, which may give, you know, different teams some advantages, and also they should appear less often in hardpoints and the like, and personally I think that can only be a good thing, specialists appearing less often. They add to the chaos of the game, and I think they especially frustrated me in Search and Destroy how someone could effectively get their specialist twice, which was never the case, especially for the specialist weapons back in Black Ops 3 when they were first introduced. It was really cool, I thought, back in Black Ops 3 when you could have some of the, you know, the glitch and that you could get a couple of times, but if you wanted to equip a weapon, you were never getting it in Search and Destroy. This game, it was possible, and now due to they've made it like the Infinite Warfare system, which of course is much better, where it doesn't rack up by score, or it doesn't rack up by time, sorry. So if you're doing nothing, you don't get your specialist, which is obviously a good change, I think, because it rewards players that actually have the skill to do something, and I don't think it gets much better than this, to be honest. Of course, it is incredibly late in the cycle. I think it's pretty sure this is Decimate's mom. She says, nice, only 3 months too late. Arguably, like 6 months too late, to be honest. But yeah, that's interesting at the very least. And then Adam Apicella says, for those asking, the July Pro League playoff event will coincide with a separate amateur $150,000 circuit open finale. The amateur circuit final event will be seeded by CWL points for the season. If you place top 16 of the event, you qualify for champs. So this seems like to be kind of how the last chance qualifiers work in this year. So instead of an LCQ, we'll have this amateur circuit final, and then the top 16 will be able to go on to champs to join up with the 16 Pro League teams at the time when the playoff event does occur for the Pro League, which is a couple months down the line. So let's get on to the Rostermania stuff. Firstly, Gorgo Knight. This is one thing I didn't cover yesterday. Unrestricted free agent for the remainder of the CWL season. I've reason to believe that effectively the team voted him off effectively because, of course, the team is Parzelion, Methods, Proto, and Mayhem. And their SMG line of Knight and Proto is not really sufficient to compete with the best teams in the game. So it seems like Knight has been voted off the team. He is an unrestricted free agent, which is very nice of the guys over at UIU to, release him from his contract entirely so he can move wherever. I also heard that he was potentially going to Midnight in replace of Saints for CWL London, at least as their substitute, because of course they're going to need one. Who they get as their replacement is very interesting. It's possible to be one of those guys over at the EG squads because, that team is in an absolute mess right now, and we can talk about that more in a couple of minutes, but I really have no idea what is going to happen to Evil Geniuses at the current time. And keep in mind, this roster change period ends on the 22nd of April, guys. We have still another 10 days to go. Even though things may seem like they're falling into place, you really don't know what's going to happen until the fat lady sings, I guess. So Spacey says a similar thing. FYI, I have no buyout. People seem to be confused and think I do since Gen G is paying me. So he's also effectively an unrestricted free agent if someone wants to pick him up. But of course, I'm sure he's making pretty good cash on this Gen G squad right now, so he would have to get a really good offer, I think, to leave that squad. Similar situation with, I guess, Pharaoh, because he's making racks on 100 Thieves bench, so he'd have to get a really good offer for him to consider leaving that opportunity behind as well, which really is an interesting change for Call of Duty that we haven't seen too much in the past, where players will, deliberately sit out because they've got bench money. So let's go through these tweets from CWL Intel. I will link this Twitter account down in the description box below. And yeah, the guy who runs this crone put together a load of great stuff regarding all the teams. This isn't just COD burner rumours. This is rumours from all different sources that have got in contact with this guy. So this is the rumours as of yesterday, effectively. The FaZe Red thing was holding most orgs up. Most are waiting for that domino effect. Everything changes if FaZe don't get the spot. But as we'll look at in a second, COD burner said that it very much seems like they do have the spot confirmed off Red Reserve. The announcement is supposedly meant to be Friday. So in 2 days' time, FaZe are going to apparently announce their team, which is going to be Scraps, Zero, Zuma. Attach is going to stay on EG, so Celium is going to be the fourth, it does seem right now, and then they need a fifth, and nobody really knows who the fifth is going to be at the current time, but apparently they've already signed, so, we'll have to see in a second. So yeah, FaZe, this is 1 day ago, no update whether they've bought the spot yet, apparently now they have. Scrap, Zero and Zuma are likely to be the base of the roster, that still seems true. Attached as a question mark, he might be stuck on EG, and Celium is a person of interest, so that kind of implies to what what I've heard about today. Ex-Red Reserve, Rate and Joe, a team of 2. It seems like these have gone to denial right now, so this is a little bit out of date from even what I talked about yesterday, because I did mention that they're going to be going to denial. Apparently this denial squad is going to be Rated Joe, Alex, Brack, and Bance is going to be the squad. That's what a lot of people have been talking about, because Rated Joe, Bance are the trio from the old Red Reserve squad. Then they wanted to get Alex in from Europe because he has been, spectacular over the last couple of seasons and hasn't had a chance to play in the Pro League. And then they've managed to get Brack off that EXG team, which is a very impressive pickup given how good he has been, and Rated's been baiting about it on Twitter, using him as his Twitter background and on his phone background, that sort of stuff. It seems like what it is right now. Not exactly sure what's going on with UIU, to be honest. Envy is an interesting one. Of course, I talked about yesterday with Hook being in control of that squad. I've heard even that potentially this that he's going to drop the entire lot of them. Now, I don't know why you would get rid of Silly or anything like that, but if Hook does have full control, he may decide to rebuild completely from the ground up, which is possible. So that Envy squad will have to find another home, and it'll be interesting exactly where they will go. Possibly, back to Evil Geniuses has even been on the cards. Multiple people have told me Decimate is on Envy. It's a done deal. So apparently Decimate has made his way into this squad. That's been talked about for several days. Celium and Hook really want to play with each other. So even though Celium has been heavily linked to, obviously he's on FaZe Clan, and Envy would need a lot of cash to buy him out of his contract, I'm sure. If Celium and Hook really want to play together, then that's definitely on the cards, and maybe the FaZe stuff isn't completely done and dusted right yet. And Yeah, maybe you are making larger changes than we talked about. And yeah, EG, sources say the whole roster has been dropped. Either way, expect big changes. Of course, JCap's got to find his home somewhere. And yeah, maybe Apathy as well. So this is interesting. Attach is very likely to stay on the squad, it does seem at the current time. And then they're going to rebuild probably from a lot of the Envy core. Whoever gets dropped off Envy will end up on this team. That's how I would predict it. So I mentioned this in yesterday's comment section. Apathy was streaming under FAP, like FAP basically, but Free A app or Phase app, a lot of people were saying. Yeah, interesting. So we have this from the CoD burner yesterday. I'm hearing this as all agreed to now. It might not be done in contracts yet, but I'm confident in these now. Remember, I don't want to say it was a done deal if it wasn't. FaZe and Red have an agreement for the spot. Most likely announcement Friday. Zuma Scrap 0, Celium +1, JCap on EG with Attach, Fellow and Exotic, which is a crazy situation if they've decided to keep Fellow on the team as far as I'm concerned. Because Fellow, I think most people would agree was their worst player. Maybe Goonjar, you could say. Okay, Goon and Fellow were the ones that were not performing great. Royalty was not great also, but not bad. So to keep Fellow is interesting if this is how it works. But of course CodBurner did have those rumours correct last season with Fellow going to E United. So maybe he knows someone close to Felony that can tell him exactly what's going on. Who knows exactly. Brack and Alex added to Denial, which is what we talked about, unless Envy or EG come back with bigger offers for Brack. Because, of course, Brack doesn't really, in an ideal world, want to go to Denial with not the best league record. If he can get picked up by guys like Envy, I'm sure he'd do it, but that may be his best option. And to play with guys like Rated Joe Bance and Alex, who have gone super deep in tournaments, then it's probably a good opportunity for him, to be honest. I heard Apathy is a potential fifth for the FaZe lineup, but I only heard it from one person. It might be Fugazi. But I think it's interesting enough to let you know of. And yeah, so FAP, FaZe Apathy, who knows? This is one thing also from Deserto. CodBurner wasn't sure who the fifth player will be, but did indicate that Brian Apathy or Fugazi could be front runners for the spot. So what are they on about here? I don't know if that's some sort of joke or exactly what's going on there. So anyway, to finish the video with, we had another comment here from CWL Intellu makes note that GodRx is not scrimming with his amateur team. Hollow, this guy from this Canada tournament this weekend to used to be called Norks back in World War II and has changed his name a few times. He's been scrimming in his place on this Dramas team or Spoofs team or however exactly it was going. But yeah. Apparently, GodRx has been talking to multiple Pro League teams and may find his way on one. I'm pretty sure he was the substitute for Evil Geniuses all this time. So it's possible he gets an opportunity there because, personally, I've really rated GodRx for the last, well, at least since the start of World War II, I thought he was very good. So I do find it interesting how Evil Geniuses never decided to even consider him for a change. Try him out as a substitute like the guys on Reciprocity did with Dylan, for example. So, yeah, I always find that interesting. Hopefully he can find his way into a good squad. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. Leave all your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. 100th daily upload in a row. We will take that. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always, and I will see you next time.
Bring this home. Time's running out. Finish this. And that's how we do it. Get ready for the next round.